We want to say thank you for so many of you that are involved. I mean, not just at a distance, you dive in with the ministries here. I think of our children's workers that jump in with the kids. Because it's easy to talk about servanthood, pray about servanthood. But you see, when you get involved in servanthood, it makes you vulnerable. That's why a lot of people don't really want to jump in. Because it makes you vulnerable. It makes you vulnerable to people's problems. You have to deal with them. And maybe your own lack of punctuality, and someone's saying, hey, we were depending on you to be here. And all of a sudden, there's an offense. Like, what is this? I'm volunteering. But what it is God is dealing with areas of our heart that needs to be polished up a little bit. And only half of what you're going to learn, you'll learn here. The other half you're going to learn after you go through the servant's entrance and get involved. Because then you'll learn people skills, time management, punctuality, character, endurance, perseverance, consistency, fortitude, kindness, compassion. All of these things you don't learn from sitting there. You learn from putting your hands to the plow, getting a bowl, washing someone's feet. And sometimes at the time you do it, you get zero reward. Nobody even notices. You'd like them to notice, but they don't. You touch on somebody's life. You work them through a problem. They might be immature or they might have character flaws. And you think, phew, man, this ministry stuff is tough. Until one day over here, you glance back and that young person that you worked with is now 24 years old and they're loving Jesus or maybe even in ministry. And you think, I wonder if I had a part in that. I see these dancers up here. Some of you don't know Jansen, one of the lead dancers here, or Mike, we call him Mick, but Micaiah here. You know, those two young guys, I remember them when they were just little kids. And to see them now and they're walking with Jesus. So many. This Sunday, I'm going to sneak out just for the 10 o'clock service, 9 o'clock service for a little while because Dominic Kaihui has their inaugural service. And I remember Dominic when he was stoned all the time coming to New Hope. And he had such a bad attitude, like he was this big blah, you know. And he hasn't changed at all, but But tomorrow I'll be able to see him and give him a hug and take your aloha over there as they start their church and to bless him. One who we never thought would go places, but you don't get much here, but later on you look and you think, now he's pastoring a church? See, remember, faith is living in advance what you will only understand one day in reverse. And so I want to say thank you to you as servants because sometimes you serve without reward, but doesn't mean you won't get one. You just have to wait a bit and then you'll see. The greatest joy I get from ministry now that I'm over 60 is going back to the different places and see a young person that I thought was just a snotty-nosed kid. Now they're in ministry. To go and see someone serving here and principal of a school. I went to Westmont College and one of my youth group kids is the president of Westmont. And I thought, what? And so he said, please come and see the college and how you've touched my life and caused me to move into ministry. And you think, you know, I'm so glad I was there in Youth for Christ when that kid was there and worked with him. I'm so glad I was there with that kid. I'm so glad I was there when Dominic came and was struggling. I'm so glad I was there and there. We could have just seen him at a distance, but I tell you, when you're there and work with them, and even though there's no reward, one day you look back and you say, I'm glad I was there. I'm glad I was there. I'm glad I am here. Because that's when God can use you. Isn't that right? It really is.